this, if I'd have said this or you'd have said this, Rita, I'm sure Keir Starmer and his police force would take a different view. But of course, I don't believe a word of it. First of all, it's perfectly true that the last Conservative government lost control of the borders. Absolutely true. It's also true, though, that Keir Starmer has lost control of the borders. Almost 1,000 people came in a couple of days ago, in one day alone, on the illegal crossings across the Channel on boats organized by criminal gangs. When he says that it's not a right to land in Britain and just stay, he's right. It's just something anyone can do. However, it's just something that nobody in his government or his border force are doing anything.
Ah, Sir Keir Starmer, the political equivalent of lukewarm tap water. No fizz, no flavor, and served in a mug that says, maybe later. If dullness were an Olympic sport, he'd be a national treasure. But Douglas Murray didn't come to politely sip tea. He came to light the kettle on fire. Within minutes, this mild-mannered wallpaper of a man was being splattered with verbal paint, sarcasm, wit, and uncomfortable truth flying in all directions. And poor Starmer? He looked like someone who brought a calculator to a sword fight.
The actual desire to tar anyone who has, as I say, not got a voice and is wanting to make their voice heard.
Tonight, British politics just got a dose of fireworks. What started as a quiet debate over immigration and border control exploded into one of the most talked about TV moments of the week. On one side, you had Labour leader Keir Starmer, calm, careful, predictable. On the other, Douglas Murray, sharp, ruthless, and ready to slice through political spin like...
As a violent far-right neo-Nazi seems to me to be a big error by Keir Starmer and others. Because, if you can't say, we recognize your deep, deep concerns about some things that have happened, including mass stabbings, terrorism, and much more. We understand your deep, deep concerns, and we are going to try to get onto this and on top of this. But there is no excuse to turn out on the streets and be violent against your Muslim brothers and sisters and neighbors or anyone else. If they can't say that, they just cannot say it. They just have to go to the secondary thing.
Let's start where it hurts. The man's entire political identity feels like performance art in boredom. Every morning he must look in the mirror and think, how can I be even less memorable today? It's as if he's auditioning for the role of middle-aged British man, scene 2, in a BBC drama no one watched. His leadership philosophy? Don't go left, don't go right. Just stand perfectly still and hope nobody notices. It's like being governed by a slice of plain toast left out during a rainstorm.
Meanwhile, we've got Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister. Well, he's in danger of being arrested with some of the commentary he's been tweeting. Douglas, extraordinary stuff. He seems to be morphing into Donald Trump if his work on X is to be believed. In the past couple of weeks, he's posted about coming for illegal immigrants. He said he'll put Britain first.
Like a knife through butter. What followed wasn't a polite exchange. It was a verbal ambush, and Starmer never saw it coming. It began with the numbers. Nearly 1,000 illegal crossings in just one day. One day, organized by criminal gangs, costing lives, costing millions, and exposing how fragile the border system has become. Murray laid it out plain and simple. The Conservatives lost control, but Labour hasn't done any better. He accused Starmer of being all talk, no tea, saying the government's words don't match the reality unfolding on Britain's shores. Viewers at home didn't need a policy briefing, they could see it for themselves. Starmer, as usual, tried to play it safe. He talked about compassion, about fairness, about the rule of law. But Murray wasn't buying it. You say it's not a right to land in Britain and stay, he shot back. But what are you doing to stop it? It was a devastating question, and one Starmer couldn't quite answer. You could almost feel the air leave the room. The Labour leader's trademark calm began to look like confusion. And then Murray went further. He accused Starmer and others of silencing ordinary people, of tarring anyone who raises legitimate concerns as far-right. His argument was blunt: ignoring fear doesn't make it disappear. It only makes it louder. And when politicians refuse to listen, anger fills the silence. It was the kind of statement that hits a nerve, not because it's comfortable, but because it's true for a lot of people watching at home. But what really set the internet on fire was the tone. Murray didn't just challenge Starmer, he dismantled him with sarcasm and wit. He called him lukewarm tap water, a man with no flavor, the political equivalent of a plain biscuit. Harsh, maybe, But viewers couldn't look away. Clips of the exchange flooded social media, racking up millions of views within hours. For once, the spotlight wasn't on what Starmer said, it was on how completely he failed to fight back. And then, just when you thought the debate couldn't twist any further, the Prime Minister entered the chaos, or rather, his posts did. Keir Starmer, as some have started calling him online, began tweeting statements that had people double-checking if his account was hacked. Britain first, end cheap overseas labour, if you want to live in the UK, you should speak English. Bold, blunt, and almost Trump-like in tone. The contrast between the fiery Prime Minister and the cautious Starmer couldn't be clearer. What this moment really exposed is the identity crisis gripping British politics. On one side, politicians trying to sound strong without offending anyone. On the other, a growing movement demanding blunt truth over polished rhetoric. The country's divided, not just by party, but by patience. People are tired of safe answers. They want something real, something raw, something that doesn't sound like it was written by a committee. So here's the takeaway. Britain's border debate isn't just about who crosses the channel, it's about who controls the conversation. And tonight, that control slipped away from the usual power players. Because whether you agreed with Murray or not, he did what so few dare to do in politics anymore, he said what he thought, without apology. And for a weary public watching the same old dance in Westminster, that kind of honesty, dangerous or not, is exactly what keeps people tuning in.